After the great test of Abraham, God's promise continued through his son Isaac, but the next generation would face a different kind of test. Not on a mountain, but in the heart. A story of love, deception, rivalry, and destiny. Isaac had grown into a quiet, thoughtful man. After the loss of Sarah, Abraham desired one thing, that Isaac would marry within their people and continue God's promise. He called his trusted servant, "Go to my homeland. The Lord will guide you to the right woman." At a well, the servant prayed for a sign. Soon, a young woman approached, kind, strong, and generous. Her name was Rebecca. "May I have a drink?" "Of course, and I will draw water for your camels too." The servant knew good had answered. Back in Canaan, Isaac walked in the fields at evening. He looked up, camels approached. "Who is that man?" "That is Isaac." Their eyes met. A quiet beginning of a lifelong covenant. Isaac loved Rebecca and the promise moved forward. Years passed, yet Rebecca could not conceive. Isaac prayed, and God answered. She became pregnant with twins, but there was struggle in her womb. "Lord, why is this happening?" God replied, "Two nations are in your womb, and the older will serve the younger." The first was born red and hairy Esau. The second came grasping his brother's heel, Jacob. Two brothers, two paths, one destiny. Esau became a hunter, strong, wild, and loved by Isaac. Jacob stayed among the tents, thoughtful, observant, loved by Rebecca. Favoritism quietly divided the home. One day, Esau returned from the field. Esau stood. Jacob was cooking stew. "Give me some of that stew, I'm starving." "Sell me your birthright first." "What good is a birthright if I'm dying?" And in a moment of weakness, Esau traded his future for a bowl of stew. He despised what was sacred. Years later, Isaac grew old and blind, and he called Esau, "Isaac, prepare me a meal, that I may bless you before I die." Rebecca overheard. He turned to Jacob, "Quick, bring me the goats. We will prepare the meal. You will receive the blessing." But Esau is hairy. "I am smooth. What if father knows? Leave it to me." Rebecca dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes and covered his hands with goat skins. Jacob entered his father's tent. "Who is it?" "I am Esau, your firstborn." Isaac felt his hands. The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's. Deception hung in the air. Isaac blessed him. "May God give you heaven's dew. Let nations serve you. Be Lord over your brothers." The blessing was given, and it could not be taken back. Moments later, Esau returned. "Father, bless me too. Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. Isn't there anything left for me?" His cry echoed with regret. From that day, Esau planned to kill. Rebekah warned Jacob, "Run, go to my brother Laban." Jacob left home alone, uncertain, afraid. One night, Jacob slept with a stone for a pillow, and he dreamed. A ladder reached from earth to heaven. Angels ascended and descended, and above it stood the Lord. God said, "I am the God of Abraham and Isaac. I will give you this land. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and through you all nations will be blessed." Jacob awoke in awe. Jacob said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." He named the place Bethel, the house of God. God's promise continues even through imperfect people. Choices matter. What is sacred should never be traded for a temporary gain. God's plan cannot be stopped, and the story continues. The story of Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, and Esau in the book of Genesis is rich with powerful moral and spiritual lessons that still apply today. Value what God has given you. Esau traded his birthright for a simple meal. He chose temporary satisfaction over lasting blessing. Lesson: don't exchange your purpose, calling, or future for something temporary. Choices have consequences. Jacob gained the blessing through deception, and Esau lost it through carelessness. Both actions brought long-term consequences: conflict, separation, and pain. Lesson: every decision matters. What we do today shapes tomorrow. Favoritism divides families. Isaac favored Esau while Rebekah favored Jacob. This created tension, jealousy, and ultimately division. Lesson: unhealthy favoritism can damage relationships and lead to conflict. God's plan still prevails. Even though people made mistakes lying, deceiving, and acting selfishly, God's purpose continued. God had already said the older would serve the younger, and his plan came to pass. Lesson: God's plan is greater than human weakness. He can work through imperfect people. You can't escape the results of your actions. Jacob received the blessing, but he had to run for his life. His journey became one of hardship and growth. Lesson: even when we receive what we want, wrong methods can bring difficult consequences. God meets us even when we're broken. When Jacob was alone, afraid, and running away, God met him in a dream at Bethel. Lesson: God doesn't abandon us in our mistakes. He meets us where we are and calls us forward. God's promise continues through generations. Despite conflict and failure, God's promise to Abraham continued through Isaac and Jacob. Lesson: God's plan is bigger than one moment, one mistake, or one person. It is a story across generations. Final spiritual reflection. This story teaches us, don't take God's blessings lightly. Be patient and trust God's timing. Choose integrity over shortcuts. God can still use your life even after mistakes. Simple summary: honor what God gives, choose wisely, live truthfully, trust God's plan. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos. Jacob walked alone across dusty lands, far from home. Behind him anger, deception, and fear. Ahead of him uncertainty, hardship, and destiny. He was fleeing from his brother Esau. He was running from consequences, but he was also running towards something greater, toward the unfolding promise of God. And so begins one of the most emotional chapters in the life of Jacob, a story of love, waiting, betrayal, and perseverance. After leaving Bethel, where he saw the ladder reaching into heaven, Jacob continued his journey toward the land of his mother's people. The sun burned overhead. The road stretched endlessly. Jacob carried little, but inside him was a promise. God of my father Abraham, God of Isaac, you promised to be with me, guide my steps. Days passed, then weeks. His feet ached, his clothes gathered dust, but hope kept him moving. Finally, he reached a region where shepherds gathered near a well. Jacob saw a large stone covering the mouth of the well. Nearby stood several shepherds with their flocks. Jacob approaching. My brothers, where are you from? Shepherd said, we are from Haran. Jacob's heart quickened. Jacob asked, do you know Laban the son of Nahor? Shepherd smiling, yes, we know him. Jacob leaned forward eagerly. Jacob asked again, is he well? Shepherd replied, he is well. He replied, he is well. Look, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep. Jacob turned across the field. He saw her. Rachel approached, leading her father's sheep. Her presence was gentle yet strong. Jacob stepped forward. Without hesitation, he rolled the heavy stone away from the well, something that usually required several men. Then he watered her sheep. Rachel watched in surprise. Rachel, curious, and asked, who are you? Jacob's voice trembled. Jacob answered, I am Jacob, son of Rebekah, your father's sister. Rachel gasped. After light entered the tent, Jacob stirred. He turned and saw Leah, not Rachel. Jacob shouted, what have you done to me? He rushed to Laban, his face filled with anger. Jacob demanded, did I not serve you for Rachel? Why have you deceived me? Laban answered calmly, in our country it is not our custom to give the younger daughter before the older. Jacob stood in silence, a profound realization dawning upon him. He remembered something years earlier. He himself had deceived his father. Now, deception had returned to him. Laban offered a solution. Complete this wedding week. Then I will give you Rachel also in return for 7 more years of service. 7 more years, 14 years in total. Jacob, though weary, agreed to the terms. And so Rachel became his wife too. But the household was complicated, filled with unspoken tensions. Jacob loved Rachel deeply, showering her with affection. But Leah felt unloved and overlooked, and God saw her sorrow. This is the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel from the book of Genesis, chapters 29 and 30. This section focuses on family conflict, rivalry, and the birth of Jacob's sons, shaping the future of a nation. Leah sat quietly inside the tent, her heart heavy with unspoken sorrow. Outside, the wind moved softly through the camp, a stark contrast to her inner turmoil. She knew the truth. Jacob loved Rachel, but not her, though Jacob's wife Leah carried the silent pain of rejection. Each time Jacob smiled at Rachel, each time laughter echoed from Rachel's tent, Leah felt invisible, but there was someone who saw her tears. God saw Leah. God understood her sorrow, and God decided to bless her. Soon Leah discovered she was expecting a child, her heart filled with hope. Perhaps now Jacob would notice her. When the baby was born, she named him Reuben. The Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now. Time passed. Leah became pregnant again. Another son was born. She named him Simeon. The Lord heard that I am unloved. Still, Jacob's affection remained with Rachel. Again Leah conceived. A third son was born. She named him Levi. Now my husband will become attached to me. But Jacob's heart did not change. Then a fourth son was born. She named him Judah. This time, I will praise the Lord. And from Judah, many generations later, would come kings. And one day, the promised Savior God was working. Rachel's jealousy, while Leah's tent filled with children. Rachel's remained silent. No laughter, no crying baby, only waiting. Rachel watched Leah holding her sons. Jealousy burned inside her. Give me children, or I will die. Jacob's patience snapped. Am I in the place of God, who has kept you from having children? Rachel turned away, heartbroken, but she refused to give up. The rivalry begins. In desperation, Rachel brought her servant Bilhah to Jacob. Here is my servant. Have children through her, so I too can build a family. Soon Bilhah gave birth to a son. Rachel named him Dan. God has vindicated me. Another son followed. He named him Naphtali. I have wrestled with my sister, and I have won. But the rivalry did not end. Leah, seeing Rachel's actions, responded in the same way. She gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob. Zilpah bore sons, Gad and Asher. The household grew louder. Children everywhere, but peace still missing. The mandrakes incident. One day Leah's son Reuben returned from the fields. In his hands were mandrakes plants believed to help fertility. Rachel saw them immediately. Please give me some of your son's mandrakes. Leah's voice trembled with hurt. Wasn't it enough that you took my husband? Now you want my son's mandrakes too. Then Jacob may spend tonight with you, in exchange for them. That night, Leah met Jacob in the field. You must come with me. I have hired you. Yes, Jacob the shepherd was now being scheduled like an appointment. Life in the household had become complicated. Very complicated. More children, more blessings. God continued to bless Leah. She gave birth to Issachar, then another son Zebul, and later, she gave birth to a daughter Dinah. The family was growing rapidly, yet Rachel's heart remained heavy, still waiting, still praying. God remembers Rachel. At last, God remembered Rachel. Her prayers were heard. She conceived. Months later, she gave birth to a son. Her joy overflowed. She named him Joseph. God has taken away my disgrace. May the Lord add to me another son. Joseph would grow into a man whose story would change nations. But that story was still ahead. Jacob desires freedom. Years passed. Jacob now had many children. Large flocks. A growing household. One evening he approached Laban. Jacob, send me on my way so I may return to my homeland. Laban hesitated. He knew something important. Jacob's presence had brought blessing. Laban's greed. Laban, I have learned that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Stay, name your wages. Jacob agreed, but with conditions. He would take only certain animals from the flocks. Spotted, speckled, striped. Laban agreed, but secretly, he planned another deception. God prospers Jacob. Despite Laban's schemes, God blessed Jacob. Jacob's flocks multiplied. His wealth increased. Servants joined his household. Camels and donkeys filled the camp. Laban's sons noticed. Laban's sons. Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father. Jealousy began to grow. Danger. Moral and spiritual lessons. Deception often returns to the deceiver. Jacob once deceived his father to receive the blessing meant for his brother. Years later, his uncle Laban deceived him by giving Leah instead of Rachel. Lesson: what we do to others often comes back to us. Spiritual truth: God allows consequences to teach humility and growth. Jacob once tricked others, now he himself was tricked. True love requires patience and sacrifice. Jacob worked 7 years, and then 7 more, because of his love for Rachel. Lesson: real love is willing to wait, endure hardship, and remain faithful. Spiritual truth: patience builds character and strengthens commitment. Some blessings are worth waiting for. God uses difficult situations to shape character. Jacob arrived at Laban's house as a runaway, fearful and uncertain. But through hardship and labor, he matured into a responsible leader. Lesson: hard seasons are often preparation seasons. Spiritual truth: God develops strength in us through trials. God sees the unseen and comforts the unloved. Leah felt rejected and unloved, yet God saw her pain and blessed her with children. Lesson: even when others overlook you, God sees your value. Spiritual truth: God's love reaches the forgotten and the wounded. When Leah felt unseen, God saw her clearly. Jealousy creates conflict and pain. Rachel's jealousy led to rivalry, competition, and tension within the family. Lesson: comparing yourself to others leads to frustration and division. Spiritual truth: contentment brings peace. Jealousy destroys unity. God works through imperfect families. Jacob's household was filled with conflict, yet God still built a nation from that family. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos. God's plan does not depend on perfect people. God can bring greatness from broken situations. Even in chaos, God was building a future. He blesses according to his perfect timing. Rachel waited many years before having Joseph. When the time came, God answered her prayers. Delay does not mean denial. God's timing is always perfect, turning sorrow into joy. God remembered Rachel and turned her sorrow into joy, blessing her with a child. Hard work and faithfulness bring increase. Jacob worked faithfully for many years. Even under unfair treatment, God prospered him. Faithfulness produces fruit over time. God rewards diligence and perseverance. These chapters teach us a big overall lesson. Actions have consequences. God sees those who feel forgotten, offering comfort. Jealousy destroys peace. Patience produces blessing, even in difficult times. God can build greatness from broken families. Jacob's life was not perfect. His home was filled with rivalry, tears, and waiting. Yet through the struggles, God was still working. God saw Leah's tears. God heard Rachel's prayers. God strengthened Jacob's hands. And from this complicated family, God was building a nation. Because even when life feels messy, God's purpose never fails. For years, Jacob lived in the house of his uncle Laban. He worked hard. He endured deception. He built a family. He grew wealthy. But peace did not last. Whispers began to spread. Jealousy grew. Danger was coming. And once again, Jacob would have to run. Tension in Laban's house. Jacob noticed the change. Laban's sons whispered when he passed. Their voices carried suspicion. Laban's sons. Jacob has taken everything our father owned. His wealth came from what belonged to us. Jacob felt their eyes watching him, cold, accusing, and Laban himself no longer looked at Jacob with kindness. God speaks to Jacob one quiet night. Jacob lay beneath the stars. Suddenly God spoke. God, return to the land of your fathers, and to your relatives, and I will be with you. Jacob sat up. His heart pounded. Home, the very place he once fled. The land where Esau lived. The brother he had wronged. Jacob confers with his wives. Jacob called his wives Rachel and Leah to meet him secretly in the field, away from listening ears, away from Laban's house. Jacob, I see that your father's attitude toward me is not what it once was, but the God of my father has been with me. He explained everything, how Laban had cheated him many times, how God protected him, how God had now commanded him to leave. Rachel and Leah looked at each other, and then answered together. Rachel, do we still have any share in our father's inheritance? Leah, he has treated us like foreigners. Rachel, whatever God has said to you, do it. Jacob nodded. The decision was made. They would leave, secretly. One day, while Laban was far away shearing sheep, Jacob acted servants, packed belongings. Children were gathered, flocks were prepared, camels were loaded. Quietly, carefully, Jacob led his family away. Rachel took something secretly, her father's household idols. No one noticed. Not yet. The journey had begun. 3 days later, news reached Laban. Jacob has fled. Laban's face hardened. Anger burned in his eyes. He left without telling me. He carried away my daughters like captives. Laban gathered his men, mounted camels, prepared for pursuit. For 7 days, he chased Jacob across hills, valleys, and deserts. That night, as Laban slept, God appeared in a dream. Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, good or bad. Laban woke suddenly, sweating. Fear replaced anger. He knew God himself was protecting Jacob. After 7 days, Laban finally caught Jacob. Campfires burned under the night sky. Jacob's heart pounded as he saw them approaching. What have you done? You deceived me. You carried off my daughters like prisoners. Why did you run secretly? Jacob stood firm. Years of frustration filled his voice. I was afraid. I thought you would take your daughters from me by force. Laban searched the camp. He suspected theft. Rachel, who had taken the idols, hid them beneath her saddle. She sat upon them calmly. When Laban searched her tent, she spoke carefully. Forgive me, father. I cannot rise before you. He searched, but found nothing. Rachel remained silent. Her secret stayed hidden. After years of silence, Jacob finally released his anger. What is my crime? How have I wronged you? For 20 years I served you. I endured heat by day, cold by night, and sleep fled from my eyes. You changed my wages 10 times, but God saw my hardship and defended me. Silence fell. Laban had no answer. The story of Jacob, preparing to face Esau. Fear returns. Jacob stood still as the dust settled behind Laban's departing caravan. Freedom at last, but peace was still far away. Ahead of him lay another danger, a memory from long ago. A brother he had wronged, a promise he had broken, a blessing he had stolen. Esau. The name alone stirred fear inside Jacob's heart. Jacob sends messengers. Jacob gathered his servants. His voice trembled slightly. Jacob, go ahead of me to my brother Esau. Tell him this message. Servants listened carefully. Say to my lord Esau, your servant Jacob says, I have been staying with Laban and have remained there until now. I have cattle and donkeys, sheep and goats, servants and maidservants. I send this message to find favor in your eyes." The servants departed quickly. Jacob waited. Every moment felt longer than the last. Days later, the servants returned. Their faces were serious. Jacob stepped forward anxiously. "What news do you bring?" One servant answered, "We went to your brother Esau." Jacob held his breath. "And he is coming to meet you." Jacob's eyes widened. With 400 men, silence fell. Fear gripped Jacob's heart. 400 men, not a greeting. An army. Jacob acted quickly. He divided his people into two groups. Children in one camp, servants in another, animals separated. If Esau attacks one group, the other may escape. Fear controlled every decision. But then, Jacob did something powerful. He prayed. Jacob knelt on the ground. Dust clung to his robe. Tears filled his eyes. "O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, you said to me, 'Return to your country and your relatives and I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown me. I had only my staff when I crossed this river, but now I have become two camps. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid." But you said, "I will surely make you prosper and make your descendants like the sand of the sea." This was not the prayer of a proud man. It was the prayer of a humble heart. Jacob had changed. Jacob prepared gifts. Many gifts. Large gifts. Hundreds of animals, goats, sheep, camels, cattle, donkeys. Each group was sent ahead one after another into the approaching darkness. Jacob instructed his servants, "When Esau meets you, say this, 'These belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift from my lord Esau,' and tell him, 'Jacob is coming behind us.'" Jacob hoped to soften his brother's anger. Night fell. The camp grew quiet. Jacob gathered his wives, Rachel Roll_03, and Leah and his children. One by one, he led them across the river. The water flowed cold and deep. Finally, Jacob was left alone. Completely alone. No servants, no family. Only silence and fear. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the darkness. A man, silent, strong, without warning. He grabbed Jacob and the struggle began. They wrestled. Dust flew into the night air. Feet slipped. Hands locked tightly. Jacob strained with every ounce of strength. This was no ordinary fight. They wrestled through the night. Minute after minute, hour after hour. Neither gave up, neither backed away. Jacob refused to release his grip. The stranger pushed harder. Jacob held tighter. Their breathing grew heavy. The sweat covered their faces. Still, no victory. As dawn approached, the stranger reached out. With a single touch, he struck Jacob's hip. Pain shot through Jacob's body. His leg weakened, yet he did not release his hold. Instead, he clung tighter. "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob refused. His voice strained with determination. "I will not let you go, unless you bless me." Silence followed. The stranger spoke again. "What is your name?" "Jacob." The name meant deceiver, trickster. One who grasped the stranger answered with authority, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God, and with humans, and have overcome." Jacob froze. His breathing slowed. His eyes widened. He understood. This was no ordinary man. This was a divine encounter. "Tell me your name." But the stranger replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed Jacob. Morning light broke across the sky. The stranger disappeared, leaving Jacob alone. His hip injured, body exhausted, but his spirit renewed. He spoke quietly. "I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." He named the place Peniel. From that day forward, Jacob walked with a limp, a permanent reminder of wrestling with God. Morning light spread across the land. Jacob stood quietly, his body aching from the long night. His hips still throbbed, every step a reminder he was no longer Jacob, but Israel. But the greatest test still lay ahead. His brother Esau was coming, and not alone. 400 men marched beside him. Jacob gathered his wives and children. He arranged them carefully. Servants first, then Leah and her children, Rachel and her son Joseph last, closest to him. His heart pounded. Dust rose in the distance. Esau was approaching. Jacob stepped forward alone. Jacob walked ahead of his family, one step at a time. He lowered himself to the ground. Bow. Then he rose, walked forward, and bowed again. He bowed 7 times. Each bow said, "I am not your enemy. I come in peace." The distance between the brothers grew smaller. Every second felt like an hour. Esau saw Jacob. His face hardened for a moment. Jacob prepared himself. This might be the end. But suddenly Esau ran forward, not in anger, not with weapons, but with open arms. He embraced Jacob, held him tightly, and both men began to weep. Years of anger, pain, and fear melted into tears. "My brother," Jacob's voice trembled. "To see your face is like seeing the face of God. You have welcomed me with kindness." Both men held each other again. Their past no longer controlled them. Forgiveness had replaced revenge. Esau stepped back and looked toward the family. Women and children waited nervously. "Who are these with you?" They are the children God has graciously given your servant." One by one, the servants approached. They bowed. Leah and her children bowed. Rachel stepped forward with Joseph. They bowed respectfully. Peace filled the air. Esau noticed the large number of animals. "What do you mean by all these herds I met?" Jacob bowed his head. "They are gifts to find favor in your eyes." Esau smiled slightly. "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have." But Jacob insisted. "No, please accept my gift. For to see your face is like seeing the face of God." Finally, Esau accepted. Not because he needed them, but because he accepted Jacob. Esau spoke again. "Let us journey together." Jacob paused. He looked at his children, his animals. He answered gently, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and the flocks are nursing. If they are driven too hard, they will die. Go on ahead. I will follow slowly." Esau nodded. He understood. The brothers parted peacefully, not as enemies, but as family. Jacob traveled safely. God had protected him. God had restored peace. God had kept his promise. Jacob built an altar. There, he worshipped. He gave thanks. Forgiveness wins. #family goal. The new beginning. Jacob settled in the land. His family grew. His sons played in the fields. His flocks multiplied. His peace returned to his household. But the journey was far from over. From this family would rise 12 tribes. From those tribes would rise a nation. And from that nation would come a promise. A promise for the whole world. Jacob began life as a deceiver. A man who tricked others. A man who ran from consequences. But through struggle, through hardship, through encounters with God, Jacob became Israel. A man transformed. A man blessed. A man remembered forever. Because sometimes God must wrestle with us before he can change us. God changes us through struggles. Jacob wrestled through the night and came out changed. Lesson: growth often comes through struggle. Spiritual truth: God transforms us through challenges. Forgiveness is more powerful than revenge. Esau had every reason to seek revenge but chose forgiveness. Lesson: forgiveness restores relationships. Spiritual truths: letting go of anger brings healing. Prayer prepares us for difficult moments. Jacob prayed before facing Esau. Lesson: prayer builds courage. Spiritual truth: God strengthens those who seek him. God keeps his promises. God protected Jacob from Laban and from Esau. Lesson: God is faithful even when we are afraid. Obedience to God requires courage. When God told Jacob to return home, he had to face his greatest fear, his brother Esau. Lesson: obeying God is not always easy, but it leads to protection and purpose. Spiritual truth: faith means moving forward even when fear is present. Jacob obeyed God even when fear stood in his path. God protects those who trust him. When Laban chased Jacob, God warned Laban in a dream not to harm him. Lesson: God can protect us even when enemies pursue us. Spiritual truth: God's presence is stronger than any threat. Even in danger, God stood as Jacob's shield. Prayer brings strength in times of fear. Before meeting Esau, Jacob prayed honestly and humbly. Lesson: prayer prepares the heart for difficult situations. Spiritual truth: God listens when we cry out in fear. Before facing his brother, Jacob faced God. Struggles can lead to transformation. Jacob wrestled through the night and received a new name, Israel. Lesson: struggles are often the doorway to change. Spiritual truth: God sometimes allows battles to reshape our identity. Jacob wrestled as a man but rose as Israel. God changes our identity when we surrender. Jacob's name changed from Jacob Deceiver to Israel, one who wrestles with God. Lesson: God can give us a new beginning. Spiritual truth: our past does not define our future. God changed Jacob's name and changed his destiny. Forgiveness heals broken relationships. Instead of attacking Jacob, Esau embraced him. Years of anger ended in tears of reconciliation. Lesson: forgiveness restores what anger destroys. Spiritual truth: healing begins when we release bitterness. Where revenge could have ruled, forgiveness prevailed. Humility opens the door to peace. Jacob bowed 7 times before Esau. He approached with humility, not pride. Lesson: humility helps restore broken relationships. Spiritual truth: God honors those who humble themselves. God keeps his promises across time. From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, God remained faithful. Even through fear and failure, his promise continued. Lesson: God's promises never fail. Spiritual truth: God finishes what he begins. Big overall lesson from Jacob: this story teaches that God protects his people. Prayer prepares us for battle. Struggles change us. Forgiveness restores relationships. God gives new beginnings. Jacob ran from fear, but God led him into transformation. He wrestled through the night and rose with a new name. He feared his brother, but found forgiveness instead of revenge. Because when God is with you, your past does not control your future. And when forgiveness replaces anger, peace becomes possible. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.